5 seconds is all I really need. So go under, give me 2 or 3 poses, and then come back up, okay?
Doing portrait sessions that are unique is a really big passion of mine.
It's a unique kind of perspective. You don't really get to move in the same way that you would on land, and I think that the end result is really just gorgeous. This weightless effect that I really love.
It's kind of interesting because it takes a unique client to want to do that. Not everybody is just ready to go underwater, especially in their wedding gown.
It was amazing, very different. There were obstacles that I definitely didn't necessarily think of ahead of time.
As soon as people see it, they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta have that. I've never even thought that was something you could do. I've been shooting for about 11 years now. Professionally, I've always kind of had a camera. My father always had cameras laying around, and so I always played with them as a kid. We offer everything from family to weddings. And then of course unique shoots like underwater and other things like that. The underwater stuff, that sort of just culminated from wanting to do like a bridal gown underwater. How do you do that? And then it just grew, and so then I started shooting high school swimmers and polo team guys, and just doing a whole school and doing all kinds of different underwater stuff. So
I always check the equipment before, just make sure it's nice and tight.
we decided when we built this studio that we would have our own underwater space in the back. You think underwater, oh, so you go out on this reef somewhere in the ocean. Yeah, well, there's underwater currents and things that could potentially drown your client or something crazy.
Do whatever feels natural, and then, or whatever you need to do to stay alive too.
Okay, got it.
All right?
All right.
The pool that we made is shallow enough to where my clients can have heavy dresses on and they're not trying to tread water. We found out up through trial and error that doesn't always work really well. So your shoot gets shortened because the client is getting winded really quickly.
Holding your breath is one thing, but moving and considering the way you move while you're doing all of this underwater is just a completely different animal.
It takes a unique client to want to do that. Also, it's not something that's inherently easy for the person. They really need to have feedback constantly.
Your legs crossed like this? Like if you were sitting in a chair?
Because they don't necessarily know how they are reacting underwater. I'm the only one that's really seeing it. So the changes that I need to make throughout the shoot are important enough to where I need to be able to just walk up to the client and do that. It's really, really a dark color, so it gives it more of a lagoon feel. And also we took away that tile line that you see across most pools, so it doesn't give the viewer the sense that you're in something that could be in somebody's backyard. The first thing they ask me, so do you put on like oxygen tank? I'm like, no, first of all, I can only hold my breath so long as my client can. So we're gonna kind of be in sync and we're gonna come up. Again, we need to talk about everything in between. Okay, on your side this way, and same thing with your hands, back. One forward, one back, okay? It's important that we are in somewhere shallow enough to where we can do that. Typically, we'll go under, take 10 or 12 shots, come back up.
So just straight
Yeah,
forward?
eye contact here, okay?
Okay.
Debrief, talk about what we need to change, what we want to do for the next shot, and then we'll just go back down and start shooting again.
But I want you on your back, so go under.
And then I'm changing. I'm maybe shooting above the water, but with the camera down in the water.
That was so good. I know that went straight up your nose, but that was so good.
So it's not always just one stagnant place. We've taken that underwater housing that we use for shooting underwater and target days when it's pouring rain in Houston, which is often enough. We do a lot of destination weddings, so those locations are typically tropical. We do bride and grooms underwater, and it makes it unique. It helps us stand out amongst our peers, and there's, Houston's a big place, so you've got to have something that makes you unique.
Doing things like this and being able to see that through somebody else's eyes is, I think, a really unique experience in itself. And then definitely being able to do that underwater is very freeing and fun.
And if you went and did like an Instagram search or some kind of a social media search for underwater portrait photography, your list is extremely short. There's just not many people that do what we do.
I'm really ready to post the pictures and just, hey, look at this amazing thing that I had the opportunity to do.
As soon as people see it, they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta have that. I've never even thought that was something you could do.
I'm not much of a bragger, but this is something that I'm definitely bragging about to everyone.